Let's get right to a developing story. Spokane Mayor Mary Verner is calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the Spokane Police Department. Good evening, I'm Kylee. The request comes on the heels of Officer Carl Thompson's conviction for using excessive force in a deadly altercation with Otto's M in 2006. There's been ensuing controversy surrounding the case. KXLY4's Kylee Cruz talked to the police chief tonight. And Kylee, this investigation is to make sure that the department is following policy and protecting citizens the way it should.
I talked to the police chief. Now, she is out of town at a police conference outside of the city about an hour ago over the phone. Now, she said she is pleased and supportive with the mayor's request. She says it's the right decision at the right time. Now, she announced on Friday she is retiring January 2nd, just at the start of the new year, but said even if she were staying put, she would still want the investigation to take place.
So this is an option that you don't necessarily want to have to exercise. You want to only do this option because you think it's just an absolutely necessary final decision to make. And I think it is the correct decision, and I do support this.
In the last few months, the police department has been front and center in the headlines. From the conviction of Carl Thompson to the actions of Spokane police officers in the courtroom 2 weeks ago, saluting Thompson as he left the courtroom.
The activity that occurred was highly inappropriate and also quite inappropriate to their oath, to their respect for the governments they represent. And so, you know, that alone demonstrates there's a real problem, and it's got to be cleaned up.
The review is called the Pattern of Practice Investigation. It's described as something similar to an audit, which works to identify patterns or practices by law enforcement that either deprive individuals of their rights or that lead to discrimination.
I have been supportive of this for a long time. I certainly think that the city needs this.
The chief says the department needs to have an independent review, considering what's happened.
The public has a crisis of confidence in the police department. How do you regain confidence is that by an outside of the Department of Justice coming in.
Something Councilman Bob Apples says should have happened long ago.
Though our policies may all sound great, it's how do they work in practice, and how are we actually implementing them? How are they being trained and taught?
If the investigation takes place, the chief doesn't think it will find fault with the policy and procedures in place, but maybe with the way some of her officers implement them. We still don't know if the Department of Justice will accept it. Now, if a review goes forward, it could take up to 18 months and recommend changes for the police department. Now, Mary Verner requested this as she likely heads out of office by the 1st of January. Reporting live on the Sky Deck, Kylee Cruz, KXLY4 HD News.